you, Hugh, and good afternoon, everybody. And it is a good afternoon in Manchester. Let it never be said that it always rains in Manchester. It's a beautiful, sunny, late afternoon. We've had a little peek into the future the last few days. The World Cup draw has set the stage for Qatar. Bruno Fernandes has committed his immediate future to Manchester United. It is now looking increasingly likely that Erik ten Hag's future is here too, maybe. But football is played in the present. The next game, the next goal, the next mistake is always the most important. And Manchester United's future may well be shaped by whether or not they're a Champions League team next season, by what happens in the here and now. A must-win match. Ralph Rangnick's called it that. Trevor Sinclair, they're all must-win matches when you're Manchester United.
Yeah, listen, the pressure, they should be used to the pressure. You know, apart from Elanga, who's a young player who's made his breakthrough season this season, apart from him, every one of them Manchester United players knows the expectancy when you play for a huge football team like this. It's been 9 years now since they challenged for the Premier League title. This transition, or what everyone's calling, Hugh just mentioned there, transition, is gone on for far too long for a club of this stature. They need to get a manager in place. They need to have a real identity of how they want to play, and they need to start executing that and recruiting players that can play that style of football.
Leicester City's immediate future is in the Europa Conference League. They've been involved in the scramble for Champions League places the last couple of seasons, but maintaining a challenge with their injury list has just proved a little bit too much. If only it were August again. Now they've got a back four of Justin, Fofana, Evans and Castagna. They have missed months and months of football between them. I estimate over 120 games missed by those four players this season. Well, the final act of this Premier League Saturday afternoon will begin with a familiar scene. 14 of these famous players have been playing for their countries on 3 different continents over the last couple of weeks, but they will now unite for a solemn moment to take a knee in support of fairness and respect for all involved in the world's game. And then we will kick off in daylight. Sunset in Manchester is not until about 7:45 this evening. The sun is shining in Manchester, so we should finish in daylight too. Spring-like it is not. The daffs are out, but so are the winter coats still. It's Manchester United in their familiar red shirts, white shorts and black socks, playing away from the Stretford end in the first half. Left to right as Trevor and I look on from our position in the main stand here at Old Trafford. Leicester City in a pale blue shirt with black shorts and pale blue turquoisey socks.
Do you think them shorts are black? They look like a navy blue to me.
Well, if we're going to argue all afternoon, you're going to have fun on Talk Sports Game Day. And the news of the Manchester United setup, well, Elanga on the right, Sancho on the left, no surprise there. Bruno Fernandes appears to be the main central forward, with Pogba on the right of midfield, Fred on the left, and McTominay setting. Looks like 4-3-3, but it's Leicester City asking the early questions, with Harvey Barnes taking Diogo Dalot for a run and being pulled to the ground and winning a free kick for Leicester City about 6 or 7 paces outside the penalty area. Trevor Sinclair highlighted that contest before the game. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited about that contest. Obviously, Harvey Barnes, we know what he's got. He's had a bit of an injury hit season, but when he's in full flight, it's very difficult for any defender to keep him quiet. And there again, I think he was quite fortunate with winning that free kick, but he's won the free kick, one-on-one duel with Dalot, and it's quite a dangerous position, probably level with the edge of the 18-yard box, 5-6 yards in from the sideline.
Andre Mariner is the man in the middle who gave the free kick. There's a right and left-footed option for Leicester City for the taker. It's going to be the right-footed Maddison. It's into the edge of the 6-yard box, and it was flicked just over the crossbar by Barnes, who managed to get some part of his body to it, and it looped over De Gea's crossbar, and he was happy to see it go.
Yeah, it was a decent ball, quite a low trajectory, in-swinger, whipped into that near post area. Harvey Barnes got first contact with his head and just got a little bit too much purchase on the ball, and it went probably centrally. I think David De Gea, with these reflexes, probably would have got there. But again, quite worrying for Manchester United that they're not getting that first contact. They should have a player in front making sure that they deal with any short corner or short ball into the box there to clear it.
Maguire playing on the right side of the two centre-backs for Manchester United forward, and Fernandes on towards Langa, cut out by Fofana. The boos were pantomime boos, you heard, from the Leicester City following inside Old Trafford when Maguire had the ball. He left Leicester City for Old Trafford pushing 3 years ago. Now, he had a couple of poor games at the King Power last year. It just seems that when it rains it pours on Harry Maguire. Had that own goal for Tottenham in the last Premier League game, and it's a tough spell for him. But he's on the ball again now, wearing the Manchester United captain's armband and finding Dalot on the halfway line. Clipped forward to Paul Pogba, who controls the ball instantly and then feeds Elanga on the touchline. Paul Pogba again, dispossessed though on this occasion by Timothy Castagne, and Leicester City have it back with the familiar figure here at Old Trafford of Johnny Evans, a return fixture both for Maguire and for Evans. He's given it away, and Bruno Fernandes trying to feed Paul Pogba. They're on totally a different wavelength, and it goes tamed behind for a Leicester City goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, just going back to Harry Maguire, listen, he's had a tough season, we all know that. It's been difficult. I think it has been a transition season for Manchester United, bringing in Ronaldo, Sancho, who didn't hit the ground running as well, and Varane. I think that, you know, the jury's still out on Varane. You know, when he played in La Liga for Real Madrid, he never played any more than 25 games a season, so physically we never knew whether he was going to be up for this task, and I think the answer is, at the moment, the jury's still out. He's not really played a consistent amount of games like your 40s and 50s, which Manchester United players need to be playing if they want to play an integral part in this side.
Manchester United stats are good when Varane and Maguire are in partnership at the heart of the defence. Back in partnership at the heart of the Leicester City defence. Fofana passes to Evans. Castagna is left back today, just inside his own half. Back to Johnny Evans again.
Great to see Fofana back. You know, the horrific injury pre-season in a nothing game, and to miss almost 3/4 of the season, it must be heartbreaking for him, but great to see him back. Young talent, and a really exciting future if he can continue the form that we used to.
Yeah, he's only 21, and Brendan Rodgers has said he's gained a bit of physicality during his rehab. He's spent an awful lot of months in the gym in recent times. Clever ball from Iheanacho out to the far side, and James Justin is brought down by a mistimed and rather wild challenge from Luke Shaw. Leicester City have a free kick in another dangerous position, and Luke Shaw has the first yellow card of the afternoon with only 5 minutes on the watch, and that's a long afternoon now against Maddison and Justin on the Leicester left, on the right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, no need for that. You know, it's not really a dangerous situation. You just delay, stay on your feet. You can't get there first, so you concede that situation, and you say, right, can you beat me? I'm going to be having players coming around me to support me to make it a 2 against 1. Can you beat me? He didn't do that. He thought he could get there. James Justin got there first, and he left Andre Mariner no option at all but to book him.
Yeah, Shaw protested his innocence. He wasn't. It is a free kick from the Leicester right, just in from the touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area, so an attacking position which has brought Evans and Fofana forward from the back. Again, the right foot of Maddison curled in there. Bruno Fernandes with a clearance. It's fallen for Fred just inside his penalty area. He plays it constructively out, up to Sancho, and they're trying to work their way out of trouble. They play their way into trouble, though. Tielemans. Now Evans. On the ball is Papic Mendy. Out to this left-hand side, and Castagna. Back to the halfway line, and Evans. Leicester City just settling into the game. Not looking to force the issue too much in the early stages, but Fofana makes progress down the right-hand side now. His forward ball is just behind Iheanacho, and it comes again for Harry Maguire. On the halfway line, it's McTominay spinning and finding Fred. Left-hand touchline now, Bruno Fernandes. Paul Pogba is in the centre-forward position at this moment in time, because Bruno Fernandes has wandered out to that far side. He's back on the ball again, 15 metres outside the penalty area, fed into Pogba. There's no flag here, and now it goes up rather belatedly, but correctly, from Darren Cann, who is making his 500th appearance on a Premier League line today. World Cup final, I still call them linos, and that is a record, incidentally. What a day for Darren Cann. Throw in for Leicester City, 15 metres inside their own half of the field, their right-hand side, Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, initial thoughts, I think Manchester United, when they've got good possession of the ball, I think they're fine. But when they're under any kind of press, I don't think they've got an out ball. Bruno Fernandes is not somebody that you can hit and expect him to be tussling with Johnny Evans or Fofana, and that's a concern. They've already got majority of possession in this game so soon. I mean, that looked like a foul as well through the back of Dewsbury Hall.
Maguire won it cleanly in the opinion of Andre Mariner. McTominay switches the ball out to the left-hand side, and that doesn't land within about 15 metres of a Manchester United player.
That's because they've got no focal point. There's nobody up against the two central defenders of Leicester where you can say, right, that's my outball. They're looking to play that difficult switch of play through many bodies or over many bodies, and they're just getting it wrong at the moment.
I suggested it was 4-3-3 the kick-off, and I'm not sure that it wasn't, but Pogba now seems to have moved forward into a more central number 10 position. It's more 4-2-3-1 now. On the ball is Bruno Fernandes, who is the one. He is the up-front player for Manchester United, and just to confirm, Cristiano Ronaldo's cried off through illness, but Marcus Rashford, who had a little break in Dubai and then came back to Manchester United's training headquarters at Carrington, wasn't involved with England. You might have thought this was the time to unleash him again in the circumstances, but he's on the bench.
But if you're looking at Marcus Rashford there, and I'm not criticising Marcus, if I've not been in the side and I think, right, I need to be ready for my next opportunity, I'm not going around the world having a holiday. I'm staying at home, so the coaches can see me going into Carrington every day, and they know I'm chomping on the bit to get in that side.
Castagna losing the ball for Leicester City. It's 0-0 at Old Trafford. We've had 9 minutes of play. Fred now inside the centre circle, early forward towards Elanga, making a break in from the touchline. It was a good idea, but it was cut out by the Leicester City defence, and it's back with Kasper Schmeichel, who's looking up into the sun a little bit. About a third of the pitch is bathed in sun, and it's Schmeichel's end of the ground, the old scoreboard end of Old Trafford, and that might, as the sun begins to set, cause a few problems for the Leicester City captain.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not got a cap player with him.
Forward by Justin, up to Tielemans, 15 metres inside the Manchester United half, where Fred quickly gets to him. 100th Premier League appearance for Fred this afternoon. Not every single one of them warmly applauded by the Old Trafford faithful. As football fans, we fall in and out of love even with our favourite players, but Fred usually starts for club and for country. He's been a regular in the Brazil midfield since last summer.
Just looking at Johnny Evans and Fofana, I'm thinking, when they seen the team sheet, they must have been rubbing their hands together thinking, who am I marking here? This is fine. We're not going to be put under any pressure. One of us can go in if need be, but literally we should have a nice afternoon where we've got no pressure when we're in possession, and out of possession there's no threat in behind.
Well, Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes have got many attributes between them, but searing pace is not amongst those attributes, so that's one less worry for the Leicester City centre-backs today. We did see them start together at Manchester City last month, and they played pretty much as a front two there. Pogba's on the ball now midway through the Leicester City half, a bit deeper today. He's fed Elanga just outside the penalty area on the Manchester United right, exchanging passes before it comes back to McTominay, and Fred goes all the way back to Maguire on the halfway line. Longer diagonally towards Luke Shaw, who has to adjust his position in order to control the ball, and does so very skillfully. Fred tries to tuck it forward to Bruno Fernandes, but it's cut out by Mendy, and now Dewsbury Hall's on the ball, and Barnes has got some space to run into here for Leicester City. Being pursued by Fred, on by Iheanacho. Support from Dewsbury Hall. Iheanacho with a clever back heel, hit by Barnes. It was a lovely build-up from Leicester City, and it deserved better than a miss-hit, drag shot from Harvey Barnes from 20 metres.
Yeah, good intricate play there down this left-hand side between Harvey Barnes and Dewsbury Hall. Really clever play, nice and bright between them. It looked like they were on the counter-attack, and then Manchester United got a lot of bodies there, but they kept it alive. And Iheanacho did really well, flicked it back about 22 yards out. Never really troubling De Gea's goal, but yeah, nice, intricate, smart play by Leicester City there.
Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0 on TalkSport with Now. With a Now Sports Day membership, you can stream all the Sky Sports action, including this game, live right now for $11.99 without a contract. Barnes with another shot, which is also mishit, also dragged wide of the post. Search Now Sports if you want a Now Sports Day membership.
It was a beautiful nutmegs, I have to say, by Harvey Barnes. As Scott McTominay went to close him down, it was a real intricate little chop through his legs, and then he got a little bit excited and snatched his shot. But good ball again in there by Dewsbury Hall. Got the ball, nutmegged McTominay, got it out of his feet, and then just got a little bit excited, but lovely little touch through the legs of McTominay there. Great skill.
Some footballers take a little longer to forget an opponent knocking the ball between their legs in a cheeky fashion like that than others. I suspect that Scott McTominay has got a number in the back of his mind at the moment. It's to Leicester number 7. He won't have enjoyed that at all.
No.
Pogba coming forward. Elanga back to Bruno Fernandes. Swept out to the left-hand side. Sancho controls instantly. Shaw on the overlap. Edge of the Leicester City penalty area. Back to Jadon Sancho. Also fresh from no international involvement this month, and his little 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes has won Manchester United a corner on the left.
Yeah, good work. It was one of them switch of plays which Manchester United have attempted probably 4 or 5 times already in this match, but this one came off. They got the ball in a nice position just down that left hand side. Little 1-2 with Sancho and Fernandes, and it was a good tackle actually by James Maddison. It's great to see him. He's getting that good work ethic into him out of possession as well as in possession.
Shaw with the Manchester United corner from the left hand side. Headed away as far as Bruno Fernandes. Cross again is from Elanga, and McTominay was waiting, and it was Castagna who did very well to get up in front of him and concede another corner to Manchester United on the right hand side. I must just add before this corner, Manchester United 2 goals from corners this season, worst in the Premier League. Leicester City 12 goals conceded from corners this season, worst in the Premier League.
Wow. I mean, this is one area when you play against Leicester City, they've had the problems. I think the fact that Johnny Evans is in there now and Fofana, who are both over 6 foot, and they will be looking to get first contact. But good little cross, nice area into the box by Elanga there, and it was well defended by Castagna.
This corner from the Manchester United right. Again, Luke Shaw will take it. Guided in towards McTominay again, edge of the 6-yard box. Very well defended again. Good leap. This time by Castagna it was once more actually, who made the challenge, which meant that McTominay was unable to guide the header goalwards, and Leicester City have cleared their lines. But Manchester United have the ball with Fred just inside his own half of the field. It's Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0 with 14 minutes gone. We're live on Game Day on Talk Sport. Manchester United coming forward with Elanga, but the flag is up against him, and it will be a free kick to Leicester City about 10 paces outside their penalty area.
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, when Manchester United do win the ball back, you need them wingers to be making out-to-win runs where they're looking to probe in behind, because what happens there is you pull the defensive line back. He went a little bit early there, got caught offside, but you pull the defensive line back, and then you can get your Pogba's and your Bruno Fernandes into them little pockets of space on the half turn, and then start playing from there.
The first meeting of these two this season was a proper thriller in October. 40 shots, 6 goals, 4 of those in the last 15 minutes. It was 2-2 with less than 10 minutes to go, but Leicester City won 4-2 to record their 3rd straight victory over Manchester United. They have never beaten United 4 times in a row. On the ball is Diogo Dalot, back to, as you can hear, Harry Maguire, who feeds it back to his goalkeeper David De Gea, and back out to Maguire again. Tossed up towards Pogba just inside his own half. Just delicious control from Pogba under a little bit of pressure. Played by Varane out to the left-hand side, and an opportunity for Jadon Sancho now to run at James Justin, and he's beaten Justin. Edge of the penalty area, he would have beaten Fofana too, but he was hacked down by Wesley Fofana, who's going to be shown a yellow card, and that was really terrific wing play by Anthony Elanga.
Yeah, brilliant play. He sucked the defender in there, James Justin, and he thought he could get a little nibble on it, and just as he dived in there, he just chopped it with the inside of his foot past him and was crudely taken out. It looks like he took a heavy one there. It'd be interesting to see if he recovers from this, but yeah, good positive play from the winger again. I was just saying earlier, as a winger, you know, you're rated by how many crosses, how many assists, how many times you get past your defender and get balls into the box. He had no hesitation on the right hand side when he got the ball. The defender was off him a little bit. Bruno Fernandes was deeper, asking for the ball. He chopped it onto his right foot and delivered a beautiful ball in. Again, positive play from Elanga, and he has been one of the bright spots for Manchester United this season, no doubt in that.
He's back on his feet, Anthony Elanga, after a spell, just allowing himself some time to recover, but no medical attention was administered, and he's ready now for the free kick that he's won just on the corner of the penalty area. It's on the Manchester United left, probably about 3 paces outside the box. Bruno Fernandes' right foot and Luke Shaw's left foot are the options. Both Maguire and Varane are forward from the back. Pogba and McTominay are aerial threats also. It's going to be taken by Bruno Fernandes, and it swung in towards the head of Harry Maguire, but it rather teased him. He couldn't quite grow enough. It had a bit of pace on him, on it, the free kick, and it's bounced out for a goal kick to Leicester City. We've had 17 minutes here on TalkSport. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0.
Yeah, what a waste. Really dangerous position there on the left hand side. Antonio Leanga earned the free kick just on the corner of the 18-yard box, and Bruno Fernandes just got a little bit too much purchase on the ball with the cross, and Harry Maguire was unable to keep it in play.
But Manchester United are back on the ball with Jadon Sancho now on the left hand side, halfway line. He's forced back by James Maddison to Scott McTominay. Varane goes square to Maguire midway inside his own half, and it's now with Diogo Dalot on the right hand side. Leicester City put a little bit of pressure on the ball, and Manchester United having to shuffle it sideways again before Varane can go forward to Bruno Fernandes. Now McTominay surging over the halfway line, where he's checked by Dewsbury Hall at the cost of a Manchester United throw-in just inside Leicester City territory, their left-hand side. It's come back to Varane again, square once more to Harry Maguire. Dalot again, just inside his own half. It's rather watchful start by both teams, just feeling each other out a little bit. Maguire with a diagonal finds Shaw in a more advanced position now. Ahead of him is Sancho, but he's forced back by James Justin, and back to Varane inside his own half. Leicester City well organised, as you might imagine, from a Brendan Rodgers team, but now they've been undone a little bit by a high ball towards the breaking Sancho, but a good recovery by Fofana, and it's back with Kasper Schmeichel.
I think that's what Jadon Sancho has to do, because looking at both players' profiles, I would say James Justin is a lot quicker in a foot race than Sancho. So he got the ball, he laid it back, the ball ended up with Harry Maguire, and then he looked to dart in behind the line of the Leicester City back line that was trying to squeeze up. He looked to run in behind. It was nearly a great ball by Harry Maguire. James Justin had to do really well to get his head to the ball first.
Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0 on TalkSport with We Buy Any Car. Sell your car in under an hour, leaving you more time to enjoy the football. Again, Varane and Maguire exchanging passes inside their own half. Again, Dalot involved on the Manchester United right, just spoon forward towards Elanga, but in the air, not the kind of ball that he wanted, with Castagna marshalling him, and Leicester City have it back with Johnny Evans. Nice clip ball forward to Dewsbury Hall on the halfway line, just in from the touchline. McTominay all over him, knocks it out of play, and Leicester City have a throw in just inside their own half. Yeah,
really good battle developing there between Dewsbury Hall and Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay got the ball earlier, and Dewsbury Hall was right there like a shadow marking him, and vice versa. When Dewsbury Hall had the ball there, Scott McTominay sticking to him like Baresi and making sure he can't make any headway.
Leicester City have actually won 5 of their last 7 games. One of the 2 defeats in that run mattered not. They got through to the Europa Conference League quarter-finals despite losing in Rennes a fortnight ago. Dewsbury Hall finding Barnes on the left-hand side, and another chance for him to run at Dalot. Instead he plays it in field to Dewsbury Hall, who tried to just coax it between the legs of Maguire, a return pass, and Harry Maguire managed to get his legs closed quickly enough to intercept it and clear his lines. But Evans has got the ball again for Leicester City. Castagna on to Tielemans. Now Iheanacho taking over is Maddison, whose touch is rather heavy, and he loses it out to Fred, and Manchester United can counter-attack now. Bruno Fernandes crossing the halfway line, finding Jadon Sancho ahead of him. He's just isolated with Justin for a moment, but he doesn't take the opportunity to take the ball back on. Goes back to Bruno Fernandes. Evans with a header which he rather mistimed. Elanga has kept it alive. It's come to Bruno Fernandes, sat up at an awkward height, and Mendy managed to clear his lines for Leicester City. Manchester United have it back though. Shaw back out to the left-hand side, and it's Sancho versus Justin again. Fernandes back to Shaw, crossing to Pogba. Just tried to guide the header. Didn't have a lot of pace on it, the cross from Shaw, but Popper was in a little bit of space, and it was a decent chance for Manchester United, but he directed it straight at Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, decent ball in. Didn't probably have enough pace on it for him to really go for it. I think best case scenario in that situation, if you can head the ball down towards one of the corners, he kind of just headed it straight down the throat of Kasper Schmeichel, and it was an easy take from about the penalty spot. But positive play again, that James Justin duel with Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho doesn't look like he's got the ability to take him on a one-on-one situation.
Ralph Rangnick has said that Sancho is approaching his best form. He started 10 of the last 11 games now for Manchester United. He hasn't been in the England squad since October. Just 70 minutes of international football for Gareth Southgate since the European finals, and that was in Andorra. But he's got plenty of time, 22 last month. I say he's got plenty of time. He's nearing 200 games for club and country at the senior level. He's also got plenty of experience. On the board is Maddison, midway inside his own half for Leicester. It's still goalless at Old Trafford. Played back to Kasper Schmeichel, who just clears his lines rather casually, and it falls for Shaw. Sancho seizes upon it. Pogba plays it back to Fred. Now McTominay forward again to Pogba, floating around and trying to find Bruno Fernandes, but the pass was overhit and cheaply out for Leicester City throw in.
Yeah, nice take from Paul Pogba there, just receiving it on his back foot so the defender couldn't see the ball. Just a little bit inaccurate with that pass out wide to Jadon Sancho. He'll be disappointed with that because he bases his game as a midfielder with his brilliant basics, and that was a basic pass for him that he got wrong.
I think we may be nearing the end of the 6-year road of the second coming to Old Trafford of Paul Pogba. He did an interview in France last week which certainly suggested that, in which he asked, do I have a role at Old Trafford? Well, he's been tried in just about every one, midfield and forward. Coming forward is Sancho, crossed into the box. Pogba was the target, but Evans cleared his line, kept a line by Varane. Mendy brings it away for Leicester City, couldn't quite get up the field. He tried to pass it forward, hit the backside of Iheanacho, and Manchester United are back on the attack. Sancho again, Bruno Fernandes 15 metres outside the penalty area. He and Pogba almost next to each other here, but not in attacking positions, and it's been given away rather cheaply. But Manchester United do have I think the ball actually hit the referee, so he's going to have to bounce it. And
I thought Andre Marin had quicker feet than that, to be honest. A bit sluggish. Has he got them scuba diving boots on?
Manchester United have it back then from the bounce ball, uncontested. Dalot back to Maguire. It's not been an up and atom start from Manchester United.
I think that comes back to the focal point. You know, they've not got that out ball where they can go a little bit more direct, so they have to play through the lines. And you know, you have to give Brendan Rodgers and this Leicester City side credit that, you know, they're sticking to task. They're making sure they close spaces down, and when they get the ball, they've not been bad in possession either.
And Manchester United have won only 3 of their last 10 games, gone out of 2 major competitions in the process, and they're in danger of slipping out of another next season's Champions League unless they can find points from this kind of fixture. Shaw was just caught a little late there by Fofana, who does have a yellow card to his name already. Maybe a little rusty, Wesley Fofana, but it's no excuse. It was a mistimed challenge.
Yeah, just got there a little bit late. It was decent play from Shaw, nice and sharp, just up the tempo a little bit to put the ball out wide towards Jadon Sancho, and was caught there by Fofana.
But from the free kick, Manchester United go backwards again.
Again, it goes back to what I originally said, Clive. You know, if you've not got that focal point, and if you're not going to get Harry Maguire up, how are you going to be expected to win aerial balls into the box? So it makes sense that they're not just putting it in the box and hoping for the best.
I mean, just at this moment, Fred is the furthest player forward for Manchester United in a central position. It's Bruno Fernandes who's occupying that role, but he wants to drift deep and come and get the ball. He doesn't want to be without the ball for very long. Pogba is also in a kind of wandering role, a sort of advanced midfield player. We've got Elanga and Sancho holding the width, and then plenty happening around and in between of them, but nothing up at the sharp end of the field.
Well, what that sounds like is a mismatch. You know, it's you're trying to get certain players on the pitch, and you know, it's round pegs and round holes. I always say, if you've got a player that can play centre forward in Marcus Rashford, why is he not playing? So that either tells me that the manager's not too happy with his, or he feels the players can do a job in a position that they're not familiar with better than Rashford.
So Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0. The latest odds are available from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. At the moment, you can get Manchester United 4-6 to win the game. Leicester City 5-1 to win the game, and the draw is 3-1. Those odds from Betfair. We'll get no cash-out suspensions on match odds and over-under goal markets on football. You must be 18 or over, and do visit begambleaware.org for advice on how best to enjoy your gambling. Bruno Fernandes has a chance for Manchester United, the best chance of the game so far, suddenly gifted to him, and Kasper Schmeichel made a save with his foot. Leicester City breaking at the other end of the field. Barnes trying to come forward. Varane goes back to David De Gea, but a chance out of nothing, a gift really from a misplaced Leicester City pass. It was a good save by Schmeichel with his foot, but I'm not sure that Bruno Fernandes should have given him any chance at all. It was a glaring opportunity. Fred is coming forward for Manchester United. On towards Anthony Elanga just outside the penalty area. Trevor Sinclair, should he have scored?
Yeah, listen, he hit the target. He was under pressure. I think You could see Johnny Evans was coming around to close him down. It was a poor ball out by Wesley Fofana. You know, he's seen a passing lane, and I think good play from Fred, who's shown in that passing lane into one of the centre midfielders, and as he's played, he's anticipated that, closed off that passing lane, intercepted it. Nice little through ball into Fernandez. Yeah, listen, he'll be disappointed that he didn't make a better chance of it, but it was a good save in the end with his feet. I don't think Kasper Schmeichel would have got there with his left hand.
He's made a string of eye-catching saves in recent games. The Leicester City number one with his foot late on in Rennes was particularly vital to Leicester City's progress.
Oh, he's a top
in
cat.
Europe.
He's been a top cat for 10 years now. Really pleased how he's developed. He was my boot boy at Manchester City when he was going through his apprenticeship and learning his craft, and he's ended up being one of the top Premier League goalkeepers, and he's got the silverware to prove it, FA Cup and the Premier League.
He was 4 years of age when his dad signed for Manchester United, so Kasper inevitably became a United fan. This became his adopted hometown. He signed for Manchester City as a 16-year-old, and how he has progressed, how he's carried that family name so magnificently in the years since. Anyway, Leicester City have won a corner here on their right-hand side down at the Stretford end of Old Trafford. It's still goalless. We've had just over 28 minutes.
Good interception actually by Harry Maguire. It was a good through ball towards Iheanacho, and Harry Maguire had to slide tackle and put it out for a corner. Good defending.
James Maddison will take it for Leicester City on the right-hand side. Fofana and Evans are forward from the back. It's headed down by Varane and seized upon by Fred, and Manchester United might be able to counter here. Bruno Fernandes slipped inside to Anthony Elanga, back out to Bruno Fernandes, is now crossing the halfway line. Plenty of red shirts in support, tried to switch it over to the right hand side. There was a late challenge on him by Yuri Tielemans. Referee's played an advantage because Fred is on the edge of the penalty area trying to cut inside. McTominay now out to Dalot. Bruno Fernandes is just putting himself to his feet, having been caught by Tielemans, who I suspect has got a yellow card on the way when play eventually comes to a halt, which it does now because Maguire's knocked it out of play. Tielemans is yellow carded for the late challenge, and Bruno Fernandes is hobbling.
Yeah, there was a lot of danger down this right hand side. Bruno chopped inside. He was looking to get it onto his right foot to switch the ball out to this right hand side, and I think if Tielemans doesn't make that challenge, Manchester United could have really benefited from that, and he realised the urgency in it and made sure he got something on there. Probably took one for the team a little bit there. A little bit lethargic, Tielemans out of possession. I'd like to see him rat a little bit more and have a little bit more intensity out of possession.
Yellow card then for Yuri Tielemans. Manchester United are one of those being linked with him. He has said in interviews he wants Champions League football. He's got 1 year left on his contract. If Leicester City are going to cash in on Tielemans this summer, will be the time to do that. Ball's just been presented to him, edge of the penalty area. Big chance here for Iheanacho, just tried to curl it and didn't curl it enough. Never quite got it out from under his feet, just inside the penalty area on his favoured left foot, and he bent it actually well wide of De Gea's right hand post.
Brilliant play. Dewsbury Hall just in down that right hand side, one and two touch passing, really sharp. Manchester United couldn't handle it. Nice little pull back onto the edge of the 18-yard box. Iheanacho's got to do better. Kalichi, come on. I'm looking at that. Get your first touch right. Get it out your feet. He never really settled the ball in. It was a really clever, sharp, accurate ball into him. He never dealt with it. He'll be disappointed with that chance.
Half an hour gone. It's still goalless, but teams now starting to create chances. Bruno Fernandes has had a very good one for Manchester United, and now Kelechi Iheanacho has had a good opportunity for Leicester City.
Got to work the goalkeeper, minimum. To miss the target from there is criminal for a centre forward, and that's probably why he's never been an absolute huge success at Leicester City since making that move from Manchester City.
Jamie Vardy's probably had something to do with that too, and he's not available at the moment. Wilfred Ndidi is out for the season. Luke Thomas is injured again, so even though Leicester's bill of health is probably better than it's been at any stage in the season, they are still missing some key players.
Yeah, I think Daka could play a part today. You know, he's done well since he's come into the football club. It's his first season, but he's already got on the goals. What's he got? 10 goals and 4 assists. A lot of them I know that have been in the Europa Conference, but he is hitting the back of the net, and he'll be looking to hopefully have a good end to this season, and then next season really showcase what he can bring to this Leicester City side. 32 minutes gone at Old Trafford. We're live on game day on Talk Sport. It's Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0, and Johnny Evans, who came to Manchester United from Belfast as a 16-year-old, is on the ball. 11 formative years on the books of this club, nearly
200 games.
I think as the game's evolved, he's become a more important player, a more integral player for teams. At times I would say Manchester United probably could have done with him.
Well, he left for West Bromwich Albion in 2015, and since then Manchester United have spent money on Lindelof, Bailly, Blind, Rojo, Maguire. I mean, where would you put Johnny Evans in that list?
Well, I mean, being honest, you'd probably put him second in the list. I think you'd put him probably below Harry Maguire, especially the season Harry Maguire had last season, not this season. But yeah, you put him one rung below that, and you already know the kid. You've put a lot of time and years into the boy.
And Johnny's wife Helen is still involved with MUTV here at Old Trafford on a daily basis, so he's still in touch with the club, you can be sure of that. Leicester City brought it forward.
He started the game really well. There was an aerial ball that he had to go and compete with Bruno Fernandes, and he made sure he won the ball and left a little bit on Bruno, who had to get a little bit of treatment straight after that challenge, and that was in the opening 20-30 seconds of the game. So he wants to showcase what he's got and what Manchester United have lost.
0-0. Evans is on the ball from Leicester's throw-in. Go line. Now James Justin just inside his own half of the field. Leicester City are playing with a lot of composure, not a huge amount of ambition. They're trying to hit Manchester United on the break, and it's worked quite well for them so far. What they haven't allowed Manchester United to do is find any real intensity or any concerted pressure. And Leicester City have had as much, if not more, of the ball than their opponents. Fofana coming forward now and crossing the halfway line. Finds Tielemans, edge of the centre circle, back to Fofana once more. Square to Johnny Evans, out to the left-hand side in Castagna. Again, Leicester City taking their time to build. Fofana now to Tielemans, has come looking for the ball. Halfway line, Maddison with a clever flick, and Mendy can surge forward and find Barnes on the left-hand side, and he's one-on-one with Dalot here, edge of the penalty area, cuts inside, tries a shot, which is not a really good one, but he gets a second opportunity as it comes back off Dalot's shins, comes back to Castagna. Evans 15 metres inside the Manchester United half, slips it forward to Dewsbury Hall, back to Mendy now, Evans again. Tielemans shows for the ball once more, Dewsbury Hall on it midway through the Manchester United half, then back to Evans again, and Mendy has slipped him between the two centre backs.
Yeah, I like the position Mendy's are taking up. Every time the defenders have got the ball, he's trying to look to get on little passing angles to receive the ball in between the lines. You can sense he's definitely a Brendan Rodgers style of player, always looking to get on it, technically very good, and he's causing Manchester United a few problems just getting in them holes now.
Maddison with a cross into the penalty area, and Barnes is first to it and diverts it wide for a goal kick. There was a little break in, an inside run from the left flank by Harvey Barnes. Dalot went with him, but it was Barnes who managed to connect with the teasing cross from Maddison and just volley it wide of the right hand post.
Yeah, great ball. Moved the ball from left to right, through little pockets of space, moving the ball nice and quickly. Went out to Maddison. Maddison's got real good quality. It's a good run from Harvey Barnes from out to win on this left hand side, gets in front of his man and just couldn't control the volley, goes wide, but good opportunity carved out there by Leicester City.
Manchester United trying to break. Progress is halted by Mendy, who was fouled by Fred as he surged forward. It was a contentious decision.
Good job as well, because he handballed it.
Yeah, it was. Tielemans had just given it away to McTominay though. Forward by Bruno Fernandes. Alanga trying to get there, is beaten to it by Johnny Evans, but then there's a poor pass by Fofana, who's struggling a little bit, if the truth's told. On the left hand side it's Jadon Sancho looking for a cross, just trying to loft it in to Fred on the surge into the penalty area. Comes from Bruno Fernandes. Sancho and Alanga exchanging passes on the left hand side. Bruno Fernandes is back on the ball, peeling away and feeding it to the right hand side. Diogo Dalot in a crossing position just outside the penalty area, comes back to Harry Maguire, short pass to McTominay, back to Varane on the edge of the centre circle. Manchester United studiously trying to work some space. Shaw back out to Sancho on the left-hand touchline. He comes back to Shaw again.
Disappointed with Dalot there. Had a one-on-one situation with Harvey Barnes. Isolated. Go and get at him. This is what you have to do as a fullback. Sometimes you have to drive the winger the opposite direction, because he knows that he don't want that happening to him. When you get the opportunity, take him on. See if he fancies it 1 against 1.
Manchester United shuffling the ball from side to side, looking for a forward ball now. Shaw chested down by Pogba. Tielemans manages to beat Bruno Fernandes to it, and it's cleared by Barnes up towards Dewsbury Hall, up as far as the halfway line, being pursued by Dalot, but Dewsbury Hall has managed to hold him off and make progress deep into Manchester United territory. Good play that by Keane and Dewsbury Hall. It wasn't the best of passes, but Pogba slid in from behind on Papi Mendy. It was a rather rash challenge by Pogba. Shaw is down in need of some treatment for Manchester United. Leicester City will have a free kick 20 metres inside the Manchester United half.
Yeah, the ball from Dewsbury Hall was wrong side of Mendy there. It needed to be on his right hand side, and it was slightly on his left, and that encouraged Pogba to go and compete with that ball into him. And he is wrong side. It's definitely a foul. I don't think it's a booking, because I think Mendy almost took the ball into Pogba, but it's certainly a foul. But he's just got to take care there. Ball down this left hand side against Dalot. I don't think Dalot realised how quick he was, couldn't get goal side of him, and then he chopped it back when he felt necessary. And that end product, make sure that ball's to the right hand side of your teammate, so he doesn't have to fight for it to retain possession.
Luke Shaw's afternoon is over. He's holding his right shin. He's taken his boot off. He's just waiting for Alex Telles to get ready to come on and replace him.
It's been one of them seasons, hasn't it, for sure?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the interview that he gave on England duty last week, when he said he felt wanted by Gareth Southgate in the England setup, he did add in that same interview, I'm not saying I don't feel wanted at United. That bit didn't receive quite as much publicity. It wasn't so good for the headlines, but he had sat out the last 3 club games. He's had a bout of COVID. He did have a run in the team in February. He's been contesting that left back spot with Alex Telles, who was playing for Brazil in the early hours of Wednesday morning in Bolivia, a 15-hour flight away. So you could understand perhaps why Shaw got the nod today. He scored for England last week. His tail was up, but he's obviously picked up an injury there, which has discomforted him, and he's going to have to come off here, and Alex Telles will be on before half-time.
It doesn't count a 15-hour flight when it's on a private jet, Clive.
Well, there were 6 Premier League players involved in Chiche's lineup in Bolivia that night, so he would have had plenty of company, I think, on that private plane back to the UK. But it's still a long way. I mean, actually, I was counting up beforehand. 9 of Manchester United starting 11 were on international duty last week, but actually playing 5 of Leicester City's starting 11. And
that's standard though, isn't it, with top clubs?
It is, but the Saturday after the so-called international break is always a bit of a headache. You just don't want the 12 who successfully negotiated that today. Shaw has been replaced, and we have that free kick which Mendy won, and which Maddison has taken into Barnes, and he's inside the Manchester United penalty area, but now being forced wide back out towards the corner flag. Bruno Fernandes with a sliding challenge, which might have been penalised, but won the ball. Clears his lines. Justin's on the halfway line to intercept it, pick it off, and now he drives forward. Alanga going back there with him. Good run by Justin. Good contest between the 2 youngsters, and Alanga wins that contest and finds Pogba, and now Bruno Fernandes onto Fred over the halfway line. Sancho waiting on the right-hand touchline this time. Just shepherded though infield by Tielemans, and the break loses some of its momentum. And Manchester United have been unable really to expose Leicester City at any stage in these first 40 minutes.
They have, and you know, you look at Alanga there working back with Justin, winning the ball back, and then running the other way and saying, listen, if you get the ball out wide to Sancho, put it in the box because I'm there.
Bruno Fernandes has made a run into the box now, but Fofana has gone every inch of the way with him, and the ball bounces through to Kasper Schmeichel. We've had 41 minutes at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0. There have been a couple of ones. Neither side has carried enough menace or threat, and we've just seen another misplaced pass, and there have been far too many of those on both sides. It's been a rather untidy game. I can't say that it's been of the highest quality so far.
No, I agree, Clive, and I think it kind of reflects where both teams are. You know, you look at Leicester, they've had a really difficult season, although they are improving, but they're 10th in the Premier League with 36 points.
Alanga with a misplaced pass here. Mendy's picked that one off, and Iheanacho can go forward now for Leicester City, just outside the penalty area. Feeds Harvey Barnes first time in to Dewsbury Hall. Good idea, but well seen by Rafa Varane, who managed to clear his lines. And Manchester United now have a chance to counter, and Jadon Sancho's on the ball. Fred is outside of him on the right-hand side. Played through the legs of Mendy, and Pogba now can attack the edge of the penalty area. Tried a little disguised pass into Fred, who'd made a run into the box, but it was well cut out by Evans. Manchester United still have it though. Ilanga to Sancho. Now Dalot, but now it goes back again. Now the initiative is lost. It's almost as if Manchester United haven't quite got the belief in themselves to really put intense pressure on the Leicester penalty area. McTominay with a low ball in. That's cleared by Fofana. McTominay does win it back though for Manchester United. By the way, Luke Shaw's still on the field. Luke Telles didn't replace him. Shaw recovered, and he's trying to pass here to Sancho. He's helped on by Ilanga, and it's bounced through to Schmeichel. I mean, Luke Shaw had his boot off and everything, and was holding his hand up and was ready to come off, but he hasn't been replaced.
Yeah, obviously he felt it initially, and as the second
he got better.
Yeah, magic sponge came out. My eyes keep on going towards Sancho when there's an attack for Manchester United, and every time he gets the ball in one-on-one situations, it always looks like it's a bit of an effort to want to try and run these Premier League fullbacks.
It's Shaw coming forward now for Manchester United, driven in low, and Fofana off balance. Does pretty well actually to divert the ball behind, a little close to his own goal for comfort, but he defended that near post and conceded a corner to Manchester United on their left.
Yeah, took up a good position there. You know, if the ball's coming in from the left, you need somebody to cover that near post area. He made sure he made that his own, and got enough purchase to put it over his own bar. So good defending there from Wesley Fofana. But I agree with you, Clive, you mentioned it earlier. He struggled a little bit. I think he's not struggled defensively. It's in possession with his passing that struggled.
Corner's taken short to Jadon Sancho, just outside the penalty area, trying to find a crossing opportunity. It's gone back to Luke Shaw, and from a Manchester United corner now back to Bruno Fernandes, and now Diogo Dalot is offering himself. He's 20 metres outside the penalty area. It is crossed in, and not quite what he intended, I don't think, because it ran towards Sancho and he miscontrolled it, and after all that, Manchester United have made nothing at all of that corner, and Leicester City have a goal kick.
Well, you do one or the other. You put it into a dangerous area, maybe into that second 6-yard box, or it's a near post area or far post, or you play a short corner and end up with a cross or a little bit of intricate play. Manchester United did either there, and wasted the opportunity because they've got a lot of bodies up the pitch, and nothing at the end of it. No shot, no cross. Really disappointing, and I think you can sense it from the atmosphere here, Clive. It's
what
quite
atmosphere?
Exactly, it's quite dead. There's not a lot of singing going on, and each attack they get, it just seems to be well defended by Leicester City, who have, apart from the two efforts on goal, one from Fernandes and the header from Pogba, they've never really threatened Kasper Schmeichel's goal.
Leicester's victory here last May actually sealed the Premier League title for Manchester City, but both clubs had other things on their minds then. Brendan Rodgers' team were 4 days away from winning the FA Cup final. Here comes Bruno Fernandes forward, back to Fred, crossed in towards Pogba. There's an offside flag up. It was in May last season, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a European final to look forward to. United were just cramming in the matches. They played 3 times in 5 days, and Leicester won with a goal from Kalia Soyuncu, but he's been left out today for the reforming of the combination of Evans and Fofana, and those two really haven't been troubled by this rather makeshift front four of Manchester United, which again has Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba ostensibly playing as the two central strikers in the absence of the flu-stricken Cristiano Ronaldo.
Just going back to Soyuncu and Amati, who've been playing in them centre-half bursts for Leicester City, they've really struggled. I just don't think there's a leader amongst them. As a second fiddle centre-half with either Fofana or Johnny Evans, I think they can do a decent job, but both of them in there together, they just really struggled, and they conceded a lot of goals. And you're talking about the amount of goals they conceded from set pieces. I think that's one of the reasons.
1 of 3 added minutes played, misplaced pass again from Varane, which Pogba is unable to keep in. Paul Pogba looking less than happy with life, it has to be said. I mean, what is his role? He played again as one of the 2 pivots for France last weekend in a kind of 3-4-3, but it seems as if successive Manchester United managers have been unwilling really to trust Paul Pogba to fulfil his defensive duties in a double pivot midfield.
Yeah, but I think you always have to have a good chemistry and a good balance, and if you've got one of them holding midfield, you look at Souček and Rice, if Rice goes forward, and usually you would see Souček going forward, but if Rice go forward, they take responsibility and Souček will sit in and vice versa. And I think you don't have that at Manchester United, and it's a basic in football, you fill in for each other, you don't empty the middle when you're going forward because you're open to the counter-attack if you do. And obviously France have got intelligent players that if Pogba does get caught going forward, because he has got a lot of creativity, somebody's going to sit in for him. Manchester United should be doing that.
Well, the Pogba Manchester United debate may be coming to an end because it does look as if he will be moving on at the end of the season. He pretty much said so himself during that interview. But Manchester United need a spark from somewhere. He's certainly a player who's capable of providing that.
I think a lot of Manchester United fans thinks that Sir Alex Ferguson was right letting him go the first time.
Well, it's just been a low-key first half here. It's been a lovely evening in Manchester. And by the way, I'm from these folks, from these parts, folks, so I can say this. A rare, lovely evening in Manchester. And it's almost had a bit of a feel of down the road, a little single down to third man. It has had that Old Trafford cricket ground feel about it tonight. Yeah. Old Trafford football ground.
But that's got to be stimulated by the players and by their energy and by their quality and their effort. And I've not been convinced that with that first half by Manchester United.
It's Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0 at half-time. And there have only been one or two occasions when either team looked like troubling the scorers. In truth, Bruno Fernandes had Manchester United's best chance presented to him, and Kasper Schmeichel made a good save with his foot. At the other end, Kelechi Iheanacho had an opportunity inside the Manchester United penalty area with time to set himself on his left foot, and he curled it well wide. And that has really been just about that in terms of real opportunities for either team. It's 0-0 at the break. Welcome back to the Harry Maguire testimonial. He's had a bit of a feel of that, with the pantomime boos from the Leicester City fans. Presumably at some stage Leicester will concede a penalty and everybody will get Harry to come up and or maybe his son will come on and take it, or something like that. It needs something, this game. Harry's brother scored today for Chesterfield, Lawrence Maguire, although they took a right thumping in the game. But Maguire, who is the focus of so much of the pre-match attention, is now captaining a team attacking the Stretford end of Old Trafford, with Jadon Sancho on the ball and turned in towards the edge of the 6-yard box where Bruno Fernandes was making a late run, and then Schmeichel gobbled it up. He's managed to clear his lines of fight. Iheanacho, he stumbled as he did so. Not sure he didn't miskick it, but he found his man, and Leicester City are on the break. And it's James Justin, but he checks and goes back in field, and we've seen so much of that from wide players in good positions. Forward now Iheanacho, inside the box is James Maddison, inside the Manchester United box, that's his. Justin looking for a 1-2 with Maddison, who instead turns, pivots, finds a bit of space for Tielemans, and now Justin from a very good pass, and Maguire it is who diverts it behind for a corner kick, and that was excellent build-up play, Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, a repeat of what we've seen in the first half down this right-hand side. Maddison really sharp, Tielemans getting on the ball, little 1 and 2 touches. I thought Iheanacho did really well, it looked like he was going to take a touch and just let the ball run through, and it was a no touch turn, nice little slide pass. I have to say, Maddison, the disguise he puts on everything is superb. You don't know what he's going to do, and again, just having that creativity.
He's just about to take a corner kick and having a conversation with Darren Cowan, who's inviting him to replace the ball. A lot of supporters moan when they see the ball's not touching the white line of the quadrant, but actually the law says it's only got to overhang that line, and Darren Cowan didn't think it was. So now Maddison takes the respotted ball to the far post. Header is by Maguire out of harm's way, and Pogba just volleys the ball anywhere will do down the field, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Leicester City, 10 metres inside the Manchester United half, Leicester right. Throw-in which it looks like James Justin will come across to take. He started 4 of the last 5 now, spent much of the last year recovering from a serious knee injury.
I don't know about you, but I don't know the boy, but James Maddison looks like the kind of character that could have an argument with himself in an empty phone box, and it's no surprise there that he's having a little bit of debate with the linesman whereabouts the ball was on the corner for the quadrant.
He always seems quite a sort of mild-mannered and amusing guy in the interviews. I don't know him personally. He's been running his own Goal of the Month competition this season. He's got some absolute beauties, and a lot of them. Everybody in Leicester will tell you he should be in the English squad, but he's had more substitute appearances than starts for Leicester in the last 6 weeks. Winning a place in this team has been his first priority.
I think it's physically. I think he's got to really give himself to the game and do them hard yards and hard hours in the gym to get himself physically different than he is, so that he can work as well out of possession as he does, and we all see it week in, week out in possession.
0-0 at Old Trafford. We've had 3.5 minutes of the second half live on TalkSport. Manchester United coming forward with Pogba finding McTominay. The ball ran away and McTominay followed through and he caught Maddison. And just how will Andre Mariner react to this? It was a heavy touch by McTominay. He was trying to recover, but he slid in. Now, how high was the boot? That is the question Andre Mariner's got to ask himself. Yellow card for Scott McTominay. Was he out of control? We haven't seen a replay yet. Trevor Sinclair, what's your view?
Bad touch, out of control, chasing his own bad touch. He was quite low, but he was 6 studs up. So he slid in with his foot, his toes, say, facing the sky. It's out of control for me. I'm not sure whether he leaves the ground as he makes the challenge, maybe just for a slight millisecond, but yeah, I think probably yellow's the right decision. But he's quite low, but his studs are up, and that could be a really sore one. I mean, if Maddison does get on with this game, he'll be very fortunate, because that's one of them challenges that can break a metatarsal.
Well, Scott McTominay is one of those guys who sort of stands up when Manchester United have had a bad day. He'll do the interview, he'll take it on the chin. He plays with a great deal of passion and commitment to this football club, but he was running a fever there, and fortunately James Maddison, who is still in a sitting position, doesn't appear to be in intense pain, so I don't think it's a serious injury, but it could have been.
Yeah, it could have been. It's one of them challenges as well where if you're McTominay, you've had a heavy touch, you know you're not going to get there. You have to have a fluid mindset, and what I mean by a fluid mindset is initially, you want to make the challenge, but it's out of your grasp, and you need to concede that situation, stay on your feet and say, listen, I'm not going to make this challenge, but I'm not going to get a yellow card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to force him backwards, and I've done my job, rather than trying to make up for the mistake that you had with the heavy touch and then ended up in the book as well. And Maddison just gingerly walking away there, he won't be happy with that challenge, and the fact that he's only got a yellow card for that, because that was out of control.
Well, Andre Mariner's had no invitation from Michael Oliver, who's the VAR, to go and have another look at that.
We are at Old Trafford.
Well, I mean, obviously VAR is one of the red card offences, are one of the areas VAR can intervene.
And I don't mean just Old Trafford, I'm saying Anfield, I'm saying the Etihad, I'm saying all the big clubs seem to get these kind of decisions where, if it's one of them where possibly you might want to look at it, they never happen at these big stadiums, at these big clubs.
Well, the good news and the postscript is that James Maddison's back out there. There's no question that of him feigning the injury in any way. He caught one there. It was a real rap, and I think there was an element of surprise about it, which I imagine makes it worse at the moment, the impact. He didn't really see it coming. He actually kicked against McTominay, but that's barely in McTominay's defence. I think Scott McTominay was lucky there.
Yeah, I agree with you, Clive.
But there's a free kick to Leicester City. It's still 0-0 here. We've had 6.5 minutes of the second half on TalkSport's Game Day. A game which really is yet to catch fire at all.
Fofana looks, every time he's in possession, he looks like a player that's not had enough ball at his feet. He just looks like he doesn't trust himself.
McTominay now surging forward. Ironic if he scores on towards Bruno Fernandes. It was a poor pass, and it allowed Fofana to get in. It was only a pass of 5 metres, but he didn't have the right weight on it, and he played Bruno Fernandes into a perilous position where he suddenly had a 50-50 instead of the ball.
Yeah, it was a poor ball. He was trying to be too greedy with the angle in which he played the ball forward. It needed to be more into the feet of Fernandes, so he could get the ball under control and then be in charge of this situation. And we're just hearing a few crowd.
It's a nice moment for Harry Maguire down in the corner where the Leicester City fans are gathered. He got booed when he got the ball, but then with a smart little turn, he whipped it away. A big round of applause for Harry Maguire from the Manchester United faithful. Still 0-0. Sancho to Bruno Fernandes in the crossing position. Manchester United left-hand side. Poked inside to Fred. Square again to McTominay. Fred once more, trying to hold off Maddison. Smuggles the ball into the path of Pogba. Right hand side, Diogo Dalot with a chance to cross, edge of the penalty area, takes on Barnes, gets the dead ball line, it's back to Bruno Fernandes, but under pressure, good pressure from Yuri Tielemans. Fernandes couldn't really get any power in the header. Here comes Marcus Rashford, 8 minutes into the second half. He has stripped off his tracksuit top, and the white number 10 on the back of that red jersey of Marcus Rashford is about to cross the white line and come onto the field.
Just looking at that chance from Bruno Fernandes, I'm looking at the players in the box. They're already in the box stationary.
Here's an opportunity for Manchester United again. Elanga had a hack at it in a rather confused melee around about the penalty spot, didn't really get hold of it. A bit more promise for Manchester United, as you can hear from the response of the fans. McTominay out to Sancho, left hand side, shimmies inside, makes progress onto his right foot, clipped into the path of Dalot, just inside the Leicester City penalty area. Diogo Dalot with a left-footed shot, he feels it took a deflection, it didn't, it's gone for a goal kick. Here comes Marcus Rashford, who is going to go off. It's Scott McTominay. That maybe tells you something. Maybe Ralph Rangnick feels he was lucky too.
Yeah, maybe he was lucky. He's got a yellow card, obviously, so he can't make a challenge, and I think that takes a lot away from Scott McTominay's game. But just going back to the earlier chance, the ball looked like it was coming in from the right-hand side, from the edge of the 18-yard box, just on the corner there, and the players were already in the box, and then it got laid down the line, a little slip ball down the line. The players didn't move. You've got to take up a second phase, or it's way too easy. One, for the defenders to mark you and get first contact, but also for you to generate any kind of power from a stationed position. And I don't know who's doing the forward play with the Manchester United forwards when they're getting them little patterns, crossing and shooting, but you must have, if the ball gets laid back or laid to a different position, you've got to take up another position in the box.
Well, Rashford wearing 10 has gone straight into the number 9 position, and Manchester United suddenly have a more conventional look to them. Bruno Fernandes is going to operate just off him, I think, as a number 10, with Sancho on the left and Elanga on the right. But Manchester United have now got a centre forward at centre forward.
Well, this is where the lads can showcase. They'll understand patterns of play. They'll understand they've got a focal point. The Leicester City defence will understand that they've got pace to contend with now, and a player that is a willing runner in behind if they get the ball out of the feet with a person on the ball.
10 minutes of the second half gone here on game day. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0 on TalkSport with a Now Sports Day membership. You can stream all the Sky Sports action, including West Ham United versus Everton and Tottenham Hotspur versus Newcastle United, live tomorrow for $11.99 without a contract. Search Now Sports. Leicester in possession with Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall out to the left-hand side, midway through the Manchester United half, and Harvey Barnes. Dewsbury-Hall with a nice move just to try to get himself into the dead ball line, but he's trapped by Dalot and by Pogba, who he's lost. Couldn't quite get past Dalot, and it's a goal kick to Manchester United.
Great feat from Dewsbury-Hall there. He had two players against him and almost come out of it with a corner. The referee, Andre Mariner, decided that he came off a Manchester United play, but there was no fear of trying things there from Dewsbury-Hall, and he's been a fresh air to this Leicester City side.
He's a boyhood Foxes fan, and he plays like it. He has a real commitment to the club, but no little skill. He's 23 years of age, he's no baby. Iheanacho had an opportunity edge of the penalty area, not on the same wavelength as Madison. He hasn't really impressed today. Iheanacho, terrific pass from Pogba, getting Rashford running at and pass for Fana down to the dead ball line, wins the corner kick, and Marcus Rashford gets a fabulous reception for the Stretford end. His first contribution is to win a corner for Manchester United.
Listen, Clive, I'm the same as this Manchester United crowd. I want Marcus Rashford to do well. We've seen him play superbly well in the past. He's had his problems. This is where he shows his personality and his character, and exactly what I said they needed the out ball, nice little straight ball over the top into that little channel. He got there first. Manchester United on the front foot of the corner,
and another man who supported his club as a boy. Corner's taken left-footed in towards the near post, where it's headed comfortably clear by Kelechi Iheanacho. As far as Bruno Fernandes, little back-heeled flick is a clever one from Tellers, who'd taken the corner. Now Fred midway through the Leicester half, looking for the ball, tried to clip a ball into Maguire. It was hopelessly overhit by Paul Pogba. It drifted a good 3 or 4 feet over the head of Harry Maguire and through for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think you need a little bounce pass, just as a little stimulus for that kind of move where you'll bounce it into someone's feet who's in front of you, get it back, and as the ball comes back, that's then the trigger for one of the deeper line midfielders to run in behind that line of Leicester City's defence, and just trying it off the cuff like that, where there's no kind of trigger for a player to make a run forward, and it was quite obvious what the outcome was going to be for Paul Pogba.
Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0. 13 and a half minutes of the second half played. Manchester United in possession with Rafael Varane midway inside his own half of the field. To his left now Alex Telles, who replaced Luke Shaw at half time. His forward ball is headed away by Fofana and then by Justin. Finds Tielemans, calmly brings it down and plays it back to Johnny Evans. Out to the left hand side in Castagna. Cleverly back in field to Evans, who's got more time and space now. Goes up to Dewsbury Hall, still 15 metres inside his own half of the field though. Leicester City just settling, though some of their defending in the last few minutes has been slightly more chaotic than we've seen from them so far, but they've contained Manchester United very well to this point. Tielemans forward and out to the left hand side where there's an opportunity for Harvey Barnes. Feeds it into Dewsbury Hall, back towards Barnes again, but again the pass is just not of Premier League quality and it rolls out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, just the little patterns of play that we've seen Leicester City, especially in the final third, execute really well at a high tempo. It's just been a little bit stuttery in this second half, and that's probably why Manchester United have started taking control of this match.
Pogba forward to Elanga, gets it back from Dalot and then runs into trouble in the shape of Papi Mendy. Barnes has it again, and this time Dalot's out of position, so he's running at Pogba, who does pretty well against him actually as a makeshift right back, forces him back in field. Mendy goes back to the halfway line and Evans fed forward to Dewsbury Hall, back out to Barnes again. Now he is running at Dalot, who's recovered his position just outside the penalty area. Iheanacho jabbed it back to Barnes, but Barnes had checked his run and it all breaks down again, and it's another Manchester United goal kick.
I think Brendan Rodgers will be really disappointed with Iheanacho's dispersal there. Every time he gets the, and I think this is why he's in the team, because he's not got pace, so he's not going to turn players, but he's in the team to be a focal point and be a link-up player, and he's getting it wrong too often. I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan Rodgers brings on Patson Daka. I said that at half-time, but the last couple of times he's had the ball, he's given away good possession in great areas, and I feel that might just turn Brendan Rodgers' hand to maybe try out Daka.
And it's spell this though for Leicester. They're coming forward again with Mendy. He's forced back to Evans and now Fofana. Here's Tielemans on the halfway line. That's a really good ball forward to Maddison, who controls it and turns in field. Out to Castagna on the left-hand side. Early forward for Barnes. Another opportunity to run at Dalot, just outside the Manchester United penalty area. Harvey Barnes goes on inside the box and across comes Harry Maguire with the cover, and he needed to because Barnes was setting himself for a shot. Maguire did really well. Corner kick, Leicester.
Yeah, good covering across from the centre half. Harry Maguire. You could see that his full-back Dalot had a lot of problems there dealing with Harvey Barnes. He ended up getting nutmegged off Harvey Barnes, and he was just getting it onto that favoured right foot to pull the trigger, and Harry Maguire just in the nick of time got across to block the shot and go out for a corner.
Maguire's played as well as anybody out there today.
He has played.
Corner kick.
But did we expect anything different? He showed that resilience before.
I suppose not. Maddison will take it from the left-hand side for Leicester City. Forward for the backer, Evans and Fofana. It's in towards Wesley Fofana, headed away by Bruno Fernandes. Fred trying to lead a one-man breakout. He's taken the ball on his own, and he's done pretty well, and the ball almost broke for Bruno Fernandes, but absolutely terrific work by Keane, and Dewsbury Hall wins it back. Crossed in by Maddison. It's a great cross. Iheanacho, it's in. Leicester City take the lead. Fabulous cross from James Maddison. Got what it deserved. Stooping header from Kelechi Iheanacho. David De Gea got a hand to it, maybe slightly wrong-footed. Couldn't keep it out. We have had just over 17 minutes of the second half at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 0, Leicester City 1.
And that is why, Clive, I am not a Premier League manager, because I would have pulled Iheanacho off about 5 minutes ago after his last couple of touches. It's a brilliant ball into Maddison. The cross is absolutely spectacular. He was one-on-one with Pogba. He got it out of his feet. He bent the ball round him, into an area and said to a forward, get on the end of this. He puts it on a sixpence, and it's a brilliant header. De Gea couldn't do anything about it, and slightly against the run of play, Leicester took the lead, but what a stunning goal that was.
It really was a fabulous finish from Iheanacho. He scored a couple against Manchester United in the FA Cup quarter-final a year ago, set the other up in that game. That's his fourth goal against Manchester United.
I said earlier about how good Maddison is at putting disguise on things, and as he gets the ball he pulls it onto his right foot, so I can't really make any blame on Pogba for not getting tighter. It looks like he's going to put it in with his right foot, and then he chops it to his left, and without even thinking just puts it into that second 6-yard box. And what all good forwards do, and this goes through era, it doesn't matter what age you play, the 60s, 70s and the modern game today, you get into them areas where you're going to get your chances. And what an execution, diving header back where it came from, right into the stanchion. 1-0 Leicester, superb goal.
It's actually Iheanacho's first in the Premier League since the turn of the year. He's actually seen probably more action in European football for Leicester City at times during the season. But they're coming again now with Barnes from the left-hand side, and Manchester United have really got to dig deep. Beaten 4 times here in the Premier League already this season, 6 defeats at Old Trafford in all competitions, 7 including that penalty shootout exit from the FA Cup. No wonder they're disgruntled here at Old Trafford. They've seen nothing from their team really to encourage them this afternoon, and now they're staring another home defeat in the face.
I mean, there's no better place to come and take the points than Old Trafford. You know, I played against them in the 90s. It was a very, very difficult task to achieve, but now you're seeing it more and more often, and the Leicester City fans, you can see them, you can hear them. I think they've let a flare off there, enjoying this performance in the second half.
Manchester United have a throw-in midway through the Leicester City half of the field, but they're in big trouble here. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 1 on TalkSport with We Buy Any Car. Sell your car in under an hour, leaving you more time to enjoy the football.
It's a test for these Manchester United players. You know, it's a big club, the expectancy is massive. You know, you're currently, what are they, 6th in the league? 6th in the league, and they need to try and climb up into them Champions League places, not just for the manager that they're trying to recruit, but also players that they're potentially trying to recruit, and this won't go any way towards helping them get into that top 4.
Arsenal play on Monday at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. They have 54 points from 28 games. Manchester United 50 from 29 going on 30. Manchester United coming forward. Bruno Fernandes has an opportunity. Kasper Schmeichel's made a save. Fred, 1-1. Straight for the end. Fred, an unlikely hero for Manchester United, smashes the ball into the roof of the net. Bruno Fernandes had a shot saved. Kasper Schmeichel, who sets very high standards, will wonder whether he beat it quite wide enough, because it fell for Fred, and he was the furthest red shirt forward to turn it in. And Manchester United no sooner have fallen behind than they have found a reply, and Fred is the goal scorer.
Yeah, it's poor play from Leicester City. They tried to play out from the back, they end up going out via Kasper Schmeichel's long ball. They didn't get to the first ball. Bruno Fernandes does really well with a no-touch turn again, and I think Kasper, knowing the high standards, like you said there, Clive, the high standards he sets for himself, he'll be disappointed he didn't palm that further away from goal. He palmed it into an area where Fred, you have to give him credit, following in, staying on side, left foot into the roof of the goal. It's a great finish, but I think Kasper would be disappointed he didn't palm that even out for a corner, if anything, because at least you can defend the corner.
I'm no goalkeeper, I didn't like getting my knees dirty, but it was a strange save. He almost scooped it, he almost pushed it forward up the field, back into the path of the on-running Fred. I
think you have to give credit to Bruno Fernandes there, because Bruno Fernandes probably looked like he was going to put it inside the right post, and Kasper's weight was going towards that on his right post for Kasper his left post, and as he shot, he's pulled it across, he's almost given him the eyes, so he's had to try and just change his direction, which is really difficult. You can ask any goalkeeper. To then get down, he was probably just happy to get a hand on the ball. Unfortunately for him, Fred was on his toes.
Maddison with a free kick for Leicester, just skimmed away by Harry Maguire for a Leicester City corner kick on the right hand side. Another terrific delivery from James Maddison, very difficult to defend, and Harry Maguire defended it really, really well. But there's some more defending to do, because Leicester City have a corner kick on their right-hand side. They're just waiting for James Maddison to get his breath back and run the width of the field to take it. 1-1 midway through the second half.
Great defending by Harry Maguire again, taking up that position right in the heart of that 6-yard box, making sure any top defenders who are them kind of aggressive defenders that go and make contact with the first ball, they put themselves in a position, and he got there first, and out for a corner it is.
Maddison with the Leicester corner from their right-hand side. Just over the head of Fofana. Manchester United clear their lines. Kept alive though well by Justin. Out to Barnes on the left-hand side. He has to go back though in order to come forward again. Rather strange ball played across field by James Justin. It's gone out of play for a Manchester United throw-in midway inside their own half. Although we're behind for just 4 minutes, and that's just as well, because there was a rather dark feeling inside Old Trafford after Iheanacho had given Leicester City the lead. But now Manchester United have come from behind, and Tellers with a cross into the Leicester City penalty area, cut out by Mendy. It's Dewsbury Hall on the ball for Leicester, out towards Barnes, immediately under pressure from Dallow, retains possession, goes up to Iheanacho, Maguire gets to him again, but Leicester City have the ball with Castagna. Nice to play it forward. Dewsbury Hall breaks in field. Iheanacho now turning on the halfway line, but Pogba catches up with him and dispossesses him and wins a free kick. It's Manchester United 1, Leicester City 1. The latest odds are available from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. At this moment you can get Manchester United to win at 6-4, Leicester at 11-2, and the draw is 5-4. Those odds from Betfair. We will get no cash out suspensions on match odds and over under goal markets on football. You must be 18 or over, and do pay a visit to begambleaware.org.
I think the second half's been way better from both teams. It's almost like someone said to them, by the way, there's 3 points up for grabs here, and they've all switched in together. The intensity, the effort, the desire from both sets of players going forward, they look like they're trying to create a lot more, and it's not this static kind of exhibition style football. So fair play to both managers, because they've obviously given them a bit of a dressing down at half time in the changing room and said, listen, that is not good enough, that first half performance, and both sets of players have reacted really well from that.
The voice of Trevor Sinclair alongside Clive Tilsley at Old Trafford, live on TalkSport's Game Day, where already today we've heard live commentary of Liverpool going briefly to the top of the Premier League with a 2-0 win over Watford, of Brentford gaining a sensational victory at Chelsea. And now, after a quiet opening hour here, we've got a game on our hands at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Leicester City 1. Ball back pass by Sancho. Iheanacho's in! And De Gea has done just enough, I think. Or did he even touch it? No, I don't think he did. Iheanacho jabbed it over the crossbar. And very, very relieved Jadon Sancho. It was a blind back pass. Iheanacho pounced upon it. Difficult angle. De Gea shutting off the near post, but he tried to go over him and he went over his bar.
Yeah, it's poor that from Sancho, because one of the things that Sancho does do is he takes responsibility when the ball's at his feet, and that was, I'm not sure it was a back pass or just a misplaced pass to Varane. And either way, it put in Iheanacho, like you said there, Clive. It was really against him with the angle. I think he tried the right thing, just got a little bit too much purchase on the little dink when he tried to come one against De Gea, and just got too much purchase and it went over the bar. But yeah, difficult that from Manchester United. I'd rather see Sancho, if he's not sure about that pass, stay on it, stick his backside out, defend, protect the ball, and wait for an option to come.
He just lost the ball again, and Leicester City have a free kick in a dangerous position. Maddison curls it in. It's a terrific header and a wonderful save from De Gea to deny Wesley Fofana. Fabulous piece of football, great delivery, wonderful header by Fofana, and a spectacular leaping, diving save from De Gea to tip it round the post. Fofana denied. Corner kick, Leicester City.
That's absolutely brilliant. Again, you know, you look at James Maddison and what he brings to this side. He's already got 13 goals and 8 assists. He got his 8th assist in this game about 10 minutes ago, and there again from a set piece situation, he puts in a delicious right-footed cross, met really well by Fofana, and it's an absolutely outstanding save by De Gea.
Corner kick to Leicester City on their left-hand side. Maddison causing all kinds of problems with his accuracy and bend and swerve, and he takes this one into the near post, but Bruno Fernandes heads it away. Dewsbury Hall plays it back out to Maddison. He's come from an offside position, and some relief for Manchester United. Well, Wesley Fofana made a scoring return to the team in Rennes 2 weeks ago with a very similar kind of carefully directed header, his first appearance since his broken leg, and he had like a bad ankle ligament injury in that pre-season game at the start of August. He is such a bright spark and so dear to Leicester City fans, and they were so delighted to see him back with a goal in France. He almost got another at Old Trafford there. James Justin's coming forward for Leicester into the Manchester United box, away again by Maguire. Fred has lost it, or Telles has. Now Maddison into the box, and that just rebounds off around and falls kindly for De Gea. So lax at times, one or two of these Manchester United players.
Yeah, you say that though, but I look at Maddison, and although he doesn't bring as much energy out of possession, he's like a fox in the box. He gives you little passing lanes, thinks that you can put the ball through there, and then as you go and execute that pass, he goes and intercepts it.
Nemanja Matic is coming on for Manchester United. They have the ball with Telles just inside his own half. Forward towards Langa, couldn't control it. Rebounds for Tielemans, under pressure from Fred, unfair pressure, free kick to Leicester City just inside their own half. This will be an interesting change. I mean, Matic is a player who brings order to games. He's been a wonderful professional for Chelsea and Manchester United down the years, but what kind of order do Manchester United need in the game they've got to win? Well, they're going to take on Paul Pogba. It's that kind of order. Matic for Pogba when you're trying to win the game. Explain.
Well, the only way I can see it is that you know you're going to get more discipline from Matic, and if you ask him to do a job for the team, as in screening, stopping the ball going into Iheanacho, or just filling that area, so maybe relieve the fullbacks a little bit, they can get a little bit higher and not have to worry about the two centre forwards. I think that's the reasoning behind that.
Not just trying to win the game, need to win the game. Badly need to win this game. Manchester United are there to put pressure on Arsenal, who they do face before the end of the month. Tielemans forward. Justin. It's Leicester City are looking more likely. You would have thought that having come from behind with that equaliser from Fred, Manchester United would really pick up the pace of the game and go at Leicester City, but it hasn't really happened that way yet. Elanga trying to change things though on the left hand side. Comes back to Bruno Fernandes, controls the ball under pressure from Tielemans, down by the corner flag, makes progress down the dead ball line. It's a great run from Bruno Fernandes, but he just couldn't quite feed it back. Really important intervention by James Justin, because Leicester City were undone then, they were in trouble. Iheanacho controlling the ball midway inside his own half. Leicester City trying to break out with Timothy Castagna. It's a much better game now.
Yeah, great
Barnes,
intensity.
inside the Manchester United half, left wing, comes back to Dewsbury Hall. There's still a lot of errors out there, but as you said, just a greater intensity and tempo about the game.
I'd be very surprised if both sets of players didn't get a little bit of a dressing down from both managers. Brendan Rodgers, obviously with the Leicester City side, and Ralph Rangnick with this Manchester United side, especially Ralph, at home and not having the intensity that these Manchester United fans absolutely demand. I was shocked with the intensity or the lack of it in the first half.
The Harry Maguire testimonial is over, and we've got a Premier League game instead. The first half had that feel about it.
I don't want to jinx Harry, but he played really well for England, and he's played really well today.
Yeah. It's amazing, really, that the football equivalent to the Barmy Army had him as their folk hero 3-4 years ago. He drinks the vodka, he drinks the Jaeger. He didn't, by the way, but that's what they sang.
Sure?
By the way, he must have been tempted to hit the hard stuff at times in the last few days.
Yeah,
but he's been excellent today.
The life of a Premier League footballer, the ups and downs.
What, vodka and Jaeger? I didn't know that. Is that right? I thought it used to be.
The ups and downs.
Fred on the ball for Manchester United. Matic coming forward. This is a game to be won by one side or the other. And Elanga's in here and trying to play it back to Rashford, but it wasn't the best of balls from Elanga, and it was picked off in the nick of time. And Leicester City can come away with Maddison over the halfway line, out to Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side. Down the touchline. He's got some support here from Dewsbury Hall into the edge of the penalty area in Iheanacho. Barnes back to Maddison. Dewsbury Hall. Now Mendy, midway through the Manchester United half, but probing forward. Lays it off to Dewsbury Hall. Castagna is in support. And it's played back now to Fofana. I've got an admission to make here. I'm going to admit to a mistake. Well, not a mistake. I just hadn't noticed that Daniel Amati has come on to replace Johnny Evans. My apologies for that. It's only happened in the last couple of minutes, but Amati is now alongside Fofana. As Leicester come forward with Iheanacho up to the edge of the penalty area, played out to the left-hand side. Barnes just outside the penalty area in a promising position, trying to feed it into Iheanacho again, but he was crowded out, and Manchester United can break clear. And Jadon Sancho, rather heavy touch, made it easy for Tielemans to dispossess him. It's not been Jadon Sancho's best day, this.
No, he's struggled. He's not got the pace to take on the fullback, and everything else it's forced. It looks like he's under pressure because he's not got that pace to go past the fullback.
Barnes v Dallow again, edge of the Manchester United penalty area. Goes back to Keane and Dewsbury Hall. He's able to venture forward, tries to feed it to Timothy Castagna, but the ball is cut out. But Mendy's back there covering, resurrect his Leicester career in the absence of Wilfred Ndidi, who's had knee surgery now, will be out for the rest of the season. And Papi Mendy, who was a cast-off really in the first half of the season, is now becoming a regular again.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. He's having a good game.
Tielemans just outside the Manchester United penalty area, out to Justin on the right-hand side. Maddison now. Played skillfully with the outside of his foot to Timothy Castagna. He had a blast from this kind of range in the last game. Back to Iheanacho though on the edge of the penalty area. Down goes Varane. Iheanacho's gone on. It's come here for James Maddison, and Leicester City lead again at Old Trafford. Maddison's got the goal. Smash between De Gea and his post after some plucky work by Iheanacho. But Manchester United are furious. Rafa Varane went down injured in the midst of that. Not quite sure what happened. It was an impact injury as he tried to halt Iheanacho's progress. He went down immediately clutching his right foot. Now whether there was any onus on Leicester City to stop or not, that's debatable. Whether the VAR will find anything wrong with the goal, we will wait to see. But James Maddison has scored, and right now Leicester lead by 2-1.
Brilliant goal by James Maddison. He's got the angle against him, and he's so assured of his technique. He manages to, I don't think there's anything in that. He's gone to ground there. It's a nice little clip between the legs of Telles by Iheanacho. There's nothing in that. There's contact, but both players are contacting each other, and it's an absolute. I thought he was going to chop that, James Maddison. He gets into an area where the angle's slightly against him, and you feel De Gea might have something to do with anything at the near post, but he's so assured of his technique. He puts it on the floor.
Iheanacho definitely kicked against Varane's foot as they tackled on the edge of the penalty area, and it is being checked. I think this would be very, very unfortunate if it was dispossessed.
Put it this way, Clive. If this was the other way round, if this was Manchester United's goal that was being
I'm not sure it comes to that, to be honest, Trevor. I just think now it's going to be a forensic examination of what was a bit of a scramble for a ball, and yes, in the midst of that scramble, Iheanacho did just catch the shin of Varane.
But if you're saying that, then I'm looking at the position of Varane there. Does Varane not push him out the way? Are you allowed to push bodies? Because that's the only reason why it's been disallowed.
He's disallowed the goal and given a free kick to Manchester United. I think they're very, very lucky to get that.
I agree with you. But I think what it does show is that this Manchester United defence, I don't think it's worked. Varane's come in for a lot of fanfare. He's been given plenty of opportunities this season, and I think the jury's still out with him, with the Manchester United fans.
It's re-refereeing the game for me, which is what VAR said they were not going to do. I mean, that was not a foul that any referee would have seen. It was just that
coming together.
Yeah. And yes, in the midst of it, technically, there's no doubt about it in my mind that Iheanacho made a movement towards the ball, didn't quite get the ball, and just sort of caught Varane, and maybe that's what hurt him, and down he went.
He looks all right now, I've got to be honest.
But it's not a foul in any other circumstances other than somebody 200 miles from here looking at it, winding it back, looking at it again, and then whispering in the ear of the man in the middle who's actually close to it and has decided it wasn't a foul. Do you know what, you better have a look at this. And it's 1-1 at Old Trafford. Fred forward to Rashford. We've hardly mentioned him since he came on. Back to Matic. Crossed in by Tellers. There's a header there from Bruno Fernandes, an improvised header which is wide at the right-hand post.
Yeah, I think the ball there from Tellers was probably meant for Elanga, who was behind Fernandes. Fernandes wasn't aware of that, and he's ended up trying to head it from probably about 20 yards out and gets it all wrong.
He scored 4 times his last 6 appearances, James Maddison, and Maddison has scored some absolutely brilliant goals in that run. The free kick in the last game against Brentford was a beauty. He took that really well, but it's been disallowed. Leicester are coming forward with Barnes. They still look the more likely to score for me.
They do.
It's Tielemans just outside the penalty area, shot at goal, which is straight at the hair and is easily fielded. But both teams are trying to win the game, that's for sure. 7 minutes left to play. Fred coming forward. Bruno Fernandes over the halfway line, plays it high and long in towards Rashford, but it's a poor ball and it's easy for Schmeichel, and Rashford's had nothing to feed off since he came on. 2 goals in 4 minutes midway through the half from Iheanacho for Leicester and Fred for Manchester United. 1-1. Barnes inside the penalty area, just stumbled, couldn't find Iheanacho. Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, wasteful there. The ball was played to him, Varane, and he had time to take a touch and try and pick out a teammate. Just kicked it out of play, and this kind of pressure from Leicester is just building and building. And if anything, I agree with you, Clive. I think Leicester look much more likely to get the winner here.
Mendy's on the ball on the touchline, hounded though by Elanga. He lost possession of the ball and it's gone out of play for a Manchester United throw-in midway inside their own half on their right hand side. It's one that Diogo Dalot will take, being urged to get on with it by the Manchester United fans. Elanga helps it on, but Rashford can't lay claim to it. Maddison with another lovely little touch finds Iheanacho, who himself has been much better in the second half. Tripped by Matic on Maddison. Free kick to Leicester City, 15 metres inside the Manchester United half of the field.
Any young player who's playing number 10, have a look at this performance from James Maddison. He's playing in the future, this kid. I mean, you know, his spatial awareness is second to none, and if he could just up his rate of intensity out of possession, I really do feel there's a chance for him to get into this English squad, as long as his personality fits that as well. It's been brilliant.
He's played more really from the right hand side in actual fact, but he's finding number 10 type spaces and finding really cutting passes. Fred with what would have been a good pass to Dalot hit the referee. So to be, well, they moan at referees when they're not up with play. Andre Mariner was right up with play there, and he stopped the attack, and so it's a bounce ball. Manchester United back on the ball with Fred up as far as the halfway line. Now on the left-hand touchline, it's Jadon Sancho. Carries the ball down the touchline. Tellers makes a run outside him. He plays it infield, but again it's careless. And Fred has to check in order to gain possession again. Matic out to the right-hand side, and Diogo Dalot comes back to Nemanja Matic again. Square to Fred. Fed forward and cut out by Tielemans. And Manchester United have a throw-in. Well, we've seen a few late shows for Manchester United this season, usually courtesy of one Cristiano Ronaldo, who is nursing flu-like symptoms today and is not with us. Sancho on the ball. Back to Matic again. Right in the heart of the Leicester City half of the field. Here's Harry Maguire now joining in the attack. Out to Dalot in a crossing position on the right-hand side. Roll back to Matic, checks, comes square. Fred into Bruno Fernandes. Still playing outside the penalty area and in front of Leicester. There's a clever 1-2 now. Rashford trying to play Sancho in. It's well marshalled though by Amati. And Manchester United have a corner kick on the left-hand side, Stretford end.
Yeah, better play from Manchester United. Nice zip on the ball, going down the right-hand side, recycling it, bringing it across. Little intricate passes. Ends up with a little 1-2 with Sancho. He can't get the return of the 1-2, but they win the corner.
1-1 at Old Trafford. Tellers with the corner in towards Maguire, wouldn't quite drop for Rashford. It's still in the penalty area. Maguire's there again, and this time Tielemans thumps the ball down the field. Iheanacho gives chase up towards the halfway line. He's surrounded by 3 red shirts, but Iheanacho has got the ball and Manchester United couldn't dispossess him. He won a contest there he should never have won. Maddison with a header on, Dalot forward, Maguire making his way back, retrieves possession for Tellers. Tellers looking back to his goalkeeper, thought better of it, saw Iheanacho out of the corner of his. Fred trying to burst forward, is brought down. Manchester United have a free kick 20 metres inside the Leicester City half.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Clive. Iheanacho did really well as that focal point, scrapped for the ball, used his body really well to make sure the challenge couldn't come in from Tellez. and ended up getting his team out, but they lost possession and Manchester United are back in possession.
Rashford's got the ball 20 metres outside the penalty area, 1-2 with Matic, fed into the edge of the box and Elanga. Marcus Rashford goes on, but across comes Amati and makes a challenge, and the ball is back in the safe hands of Kasper Schmeichel. We have just over 2 of the 90 minutes remaining, and it remains Manchester United 1, Leicester City 1. It won't be enough for Manchester United to put any pressure on Arsenal, who play on Monday, or West Ham Everton tomorrow, Tottenham Hotspur Newcastle tomorrow. Manchester United will actually remain in 6th place with only a point. They'd move level with Tottenham, but they've played more than everybody else up there now.
Yeah, it's looking very unlikely, and you know what, it reflects the performance, not just of this game, but I think of the season. You know, they started quite well with Ronaldo scoring a lot of late winners, which I think was plastering over a lot of cracks in this Manchester United side, and how it's come to fruition, it's Manchester United are not a top 4 team.
And what does Erik ten Hag make of it all, watching on from the Netherlands, where his Ajax team are involved in a right ding-dong with PSV. Only 2 points separate them in the title race. They meet in the Dutch Cup final in 2 weeks' time. He's got plenty on his plate. Manchester United coming forward though. Bruno Fernandes, Elanga with a cross, headed away by Amati. Bruno Fernandes is there again, but he's dispossessed by Dewsbury Hall. It's a poor clearance this time, only as far as Maguire. Now Telles, out to the left-hand side, Jadon Sancho. Breaks infield, 50 metres outside the penalty area. Let's have a problem with Mendy injured. Dalot with a cross. It's almost found its way to the edge of the 6-yard box, and rather desperate defending by Leicester, but got the job done. Manchester United throw in midway through the Leicester half. Right hand side, but stoppage in play because Papi Mendy requires some treatment.
Yeah, Papi Mendy looks like, I'm not sure if it's his ankle or his hamstring, but he's certainly got a problem, whether it's a twist with his knee. He's holding the back of his left hamstring. I mean, he's what is he, 5'4", 5'3"? If he's got a hamstring problem, I'm not having it, because his hamstrings are very short anyway. Maybe he's got cramp.
You don't know him. How can you make character judgments of that kind of somebody you've never met?
When you've got long limbs, you've got a lot more chance of having problems with your hamstrings. When you're 5'3", you should have enough hamstring in there to be able to deal with the work.
Well, he's heading to the World Cup finals with Senegal. He was actually substituted before the penalties, but he was chosen ahead of Cheick Kouyaté by his national manager, which tells you something about his status, which may not be very tall, but he has a presence about him. It looks like his afternoon may be over. We're going to see Patson Daka, interestingly, for the closing stages. So I would suspect, and Hamza Chowdhury is coming on too. So Chowdhury will replace Mendy, and I think Daka will probably relieve the Leicester City goal scorer Iheanacho. We had 18 minutes of the second half when his diving header to Maddison's fabulous cross gave Leicester City the lead. Fred capitalised on, well, not a top-class piece of goalkeeping by Kasper Schmeichel. Maybe halt before I called it a really an error. And they have been the 2 goals which have given us a 1-1 scoreline deep in stoppage time. On comes Chowdhury, who's been on the fringes for much of the season. He played as an emergency right back in his last start against Leeds a month ago, and it is Iheanacho who gives way to the Zambian Patson Daka.
Just going back to that goal that Manchester United scored, and any kind of criticism that we may have given Kasper Schmeichel, I tried to give a bit of detail and substance behind why he might have made that peculiar save, and it was, I thought Bruno Fernandes put a little bit of disguise, looked like he was going in the bottom right and just reversed it last minute, and that wrong-footed Kasper, and he was probably happy just to get a hand on it to stop it going directly in.
Daka conceding a free kick with his first involvement. We've got 5 added minutes, so this isn't done yet. Manchester United with Matic in possession. Rolled square to Harry Maguire. Out to the right-hand touchline. Dalot inside the Leicester City half of the field. Good burst this by Dalot. Right a challenge from Barnes. Crossed in, and Martin has slipped. It's come here for Sancho! And he has fluffed his lines. Now, in fairness to Sancho, he would have been expecting that cross because Amati was favourite to clear it and just fell over. But Sancho wasn't alert and aware, and he was caught on his heels. He had a swing at it, and he mishit it badly.
I disagree. I think he got a little bit rabbit in the headlights there. He's seen the mistake, he's seen the ball come at him, he had plenty of time to look it up, and as it bounced he just fluffed his lines, like you say. It's there, plenty of time, he just gets his technique all wrong, and that comes when you've got a player like Sancho who's really struggling to showcase the ability that he showcased when he was at Borussia Dortmund, and that's what happens. You just snatch at opportunities, and I think that's exactly what Jadon Sancho did there. He'll be disappointed. I'm just looking at his reaction there, and he's playing with his afro, and I'll be disappointed that he didn't finish that, or at least hit the target and work. Kasper Schmeichel.
Well, Trevor, we started this commentary arguing, and we're going to finish arguing with and there's nobody at TalkSport I'd rather argue with than Trevor Sinclair. But it's not over this yet. Manchester United is still coming forward. Bruno Fernandes, 15 metres outside the penalty area, fed into Sancho, didn't cross it, instead played it back out to Telles. Now Bruno Fernandes into Matic, edge of the penalty area, now inside the box, crowded out a little bit, but he's rolled in the clever ball. Bruno Fernandes, Sancho couldn't control it, and Leicester City couldn't clear their lines either. Alanga's on the ball now, Dalot just outside the penalty area, rolled back to Fred, looking for a cross, instead finds a square pass to Alex Telles. Edge of the penalty area, it's Bruno Fernandes. Back into Fred again, but he can't feed it forward. Tielemans sees to that, and it's Leicester City now who've got an opportunity to break out, and they've got 4 in the break, and Justin couldn't find a pass, and instead there are now 4 Leicester City players out the game, and Manchester United are coming forward with Nemanja Matic. Maybe a little too ambitious on that occasion, James Justin, although he's regathered his position. Matic forward, down the left-hand side. Bruno Fernandes in a crossing position. Breaks a challenge from Tielemans, but not one from Maddison. It's gone out of play for a Manchester United throw-in down by the corner flag.
And James Justin could have picked out the right pass there. It was 4 against 3 in favour of Leicester City against the Man United defenders, and he just screwed it behind all the on-running players.
And the attack broke down, and Manchester United broke back at Leicester, but now Leicester have regathered. Into the penalty area is Sancho. Fortunate break. Rashford's inside the box. It's Marcus Rashford. Down he goes. Referee says offside. It was that moment of suspense when clearly he was thinking about something and waiting to make a decision, and in the end maybe the linesman made it for him.
Wow. I mean, I think that could have been a really tricky decision for Andre Mariner to have to make, and it did look like Marcus Rashford was going to pull the trigger. I'm just looking for the offside now. Yeah, he's just gone a little bit. He's got caught in there.
Alanga.
Yeah. He didn't actually touch the ball, but he was so close to him. I think that's why the linesman's flag's gone up. But good play, good real hustle there.
I think Rashford was brought down by Anthony Alanga.
But he has got a knack of scoring goals, hasn't he, the young player? So you can understand why he's trying to pull the trigger there.
Daka trying to feed it through to Maddison, picked off by Fred. We've got added time to the added time, and Manchester United have given it away, and here's James Maddison, edge of the penalty area, trying to drive it into Harvey Barnes, and he drove it in behind him, and Dalot can break down the other side. Over the halfway line, Diogo Dalot. Bruno Fernandes on the right hand side, fed forward, Alanga's in here, crossed in towards Rashford, but it's cut out by James Justin. Corner to Manchester United. There were 5 added minutes, and we've had 6 now.
Excellent defending there by James Justin. That was most certainly a goal scoring opportunity at the far post for Marcus Rashford. As Alanga put the cross in, James Justin come across and made sure he intercepted that cross.
Extra time. Bruno Fernandes with a cross, headed down by Maguire, is saved very comfortably by Kasper Schmeichel. Well, we could do another 20 minutes of this. The game's been a lot better since those 2 goals midway through the half. Harvey Barnes trying to break forward, but I don't think we're going to get much more, and I don't think Manchester United or Leicester City are going to get what they want or need from this match. Maguire over the halfway line, but that's that. Applause for Manchester United from the majority of their supporters at the end of the game, who recognised the efforts they gave in the closing 10 minutes. But the bottom line, and Ralf Rangnick said it himself, these are must-win games for Manchester United if they really want to be part of the Champions League next season, and this was a game they couldn't win, didn't really play well enough to win, if the truth's told. Kelechi Iheanacho gave Leicester City the lead with the best moment of the game from James Maddison's wonderful cross. He headed in after 63 minutes. Manchester United equalised 4 minutes later when Schmeichel parried a low shot from Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the penalty area, and Fred, making his 100th Premier League appearance, capitalised with the break. It wasn't the best game you'll ever see. It got better, that's for sure. It was exciting in the closing stages, but at the end of it, neither side has got as much as they would have liked from the afternoon. It is finished. Manchester United 1, Leicester City 1.